In the world of hockey, some stories inspire us, some thrill us, and some break our hearts. This is the story of a star who burned so bright that he lit up not just the rink, but also the lives of everyone around him. He was a player whose impact on the game was as immeasurable as his heart was big.
Gaudreau takes control, flips it in for Toffoli. Connor Toffoli has a step, right in, scores! What a great individual effort, Johnny Gaudreau!
Johnny Gaudreau, a name that became synonymous with speed, skill, and an unwavering love for the game. A player who proved that in hockey, it's not the size of the dog in the fight, but the size of the fight in the dog. At just 5'9", Johnny became a giant on the ice, defying expectations and redefining what it meant to be an NHL star. But on August 29, 2024, the hockey world stood still. A devastating tragedy occurred that should have never happened. Johnny Gaudreau and his brother Matthew were taken from us in a senseless accident a day before they were to celebrate their sister's wedding. A drunk driver changed the course of hockey history in an instant.
Player Johnny Gaudreau has died. Police in Salem County, New Jersey say the 31-year-old and his brother Matthew were killed while they were cycling last night just around 8:20 p.m.
How did we get here? How did a day that should have been filled with joy become one of unimaginable loss? To understand the magnitude of this tragedy, we need to look at the extraordinary life that was cut short. So join us as we take you through the inspiring journey of Johnny Gaudreau, from a small town in New Jersey to the bright lights of the NHL. A story of triumph, of family, of giving back, and yes, of heartbreak. A story that reminds us to cherish every moment on and off the ice. This is the story of Johnny Hockey. Our story starts not in an arena, but in a small New Jersey town called Salem. Here, skies stretch wide above farms and front porches. A place where kids still play stickball in the street, where neighbors chat over the white picket fences. The year, 1993. And on an unassuming August day, John Michael Gaudreau enters the world. Though Johnny stood just 5'9" as an adult, he had big dreams. From the moment he first laced up skates as a toddler, Johnny saw hockey glory in his future. Backyard rinks became his playground, and street hockey became his obsession. While other kids dreamed of pitching in the big leagues or scoring touchdowns, Johnny envisioned hoisting the Stanley Cup. Once Johnny hit the ice for real, it became apparent this was no ordinary child. He was a prodigy. His speed and agility blew other kids away, as did skeptical parents. While Johnny stood shorter than most kids his age, his skills towered above the competition. He spent hours honing his lightning-quick hands, dreaming up new ways to dart between hulking defensemen and scoring goals. And despite his size, Johnny never backed down, bringing a fearlessness beyond his years to every shift. But with great talent often comes great resistance, and for Johnny, his size elicited doubt at every stop along the way. Yet he refused to let these doubts define him. Johnny leaned on family from the start, who encouraged him to dream big and tune out the critics. His dad, Guy, took him to every tournament, coached his teams, and reminded Johnny that heart trumps height. His mom, Jane, cheered louder than any other parent, Johnny's personal fan club of one. Together, they nurtured both Johnny's skills and confidence. He learned to avoid comparisons and to trust his abilities, to measure himself not against others, but against his own potential. With his family's support buoying him, Johnny paved his own path to stardom. The next stop on Johnny's journey was Boston College, where his skills garnered attention across the college hockey landscape. Under the tutelage of renowned coach Jerry York, Johnny's talents blossomed like a flower in springtime. By sophomore year, Johnny led his team in scoring, but a new obstacle emerged, the one-and-done whisperings that hound college hockey's elite. The NHL, always hungry for talent, wanted Johnny. But he remained patient, wanting to play with his younger brother Matthew and develop fully before making the jump. That patience paid off with Johnny's junior year curtain call, a storybook ending to his collegiate career. He swept NCAA hockey's top awards, including the storied Hobey Baker Award. Johnny led the nation in scoring, dazzling crowds with his uncanny puck skills and ability to take over games. He captained Boston College on a storybook run to the Frozen Four finals. Suddenly, the skeptics sounded much more muted. Johnny's size was now simply part of a legend, a footnote to his greatness. He had outworked, outscored, and outplayed every critic. The next level, the NHL, hockey's biggest stage. As a kid, Johnny endlessly imagined scoring a Stanley Cup-winning goal. The opportunity was now before him, but doubts lingered, different ones now. Could he handle the NHL's grinding physicality? Would his body withstand hits from the mammoth men of pro hockey? Was he simply too small to survive in the big leagues? Johnny let the questions come, then brushed them aside. He knew the work was just beginning. The NHL draft awaited, and while Johnny had proven himself at each level, the next rung on the ladder was always the steepest. Johnny was ready to climb it. Clamber he did, right into hockey legend. Calgary, Alberta, a city nestled on the rolling foothills of the Canadian Rockies. Passion for hockey simmers in Calgarians' blood like steam rising from a bowl of simmering chili. The city lived and died with its beloved Flames, and in 2011, hope glimmered anew. That year, the Flames looked to the NHL draft to spark the future. Experts predicted big-name prospects, surefire studs. So when Calgary selected Johnny Gaudreau in the 4th round, most were underwhelmed. Sure, he tore up college hockey, but could he withstand the rugged NHL? Not only did Johnny withstand it, he came to rule it. His rookie debut on April 13, 2014 is etched in Flames history. Johnny scored the Flames' only goal on his first shot of his first NHL pro game. The teenage rookie had announced his arrival. In his first full season in 2014-2015, Johnny tied Mark Stone in rookie scoring and was a finalist for NHL's Rookie of the Year award. He also led fans to prise open their minds and see that in today's NHL, small could be mighty. They called them Gaudreau goals, and they became a league-wide sensation. Opposing coaches labored to contain him, often with comical futility. While Johnny was awed by his skills, what resonated most was his spirit. He played with unbridled joy, hockey's happy warrior. In a brutal sport, he brought artistry. And though Johnny stood just 5'9", he proved size limitations exist only in our minds. But with his success came greater burdens. Now marked tightly, Johnny adjusted, finding new ways to baffle opponents. Every offseason, he worked relentlessly, speed drills, shooting repetitions, and laboring to squeeze out an extra inch of performance. From 2018 to 2019, it all crystallized into Johnny's magnum opus. 99 points, leading Calgary to the top record in the Western Conference. He now drew 2-3 defenders every shift. It hardly mattered. Johnny's skills and smarts navigated every trap and took Calgary to heights it hadn't reached in years. Yet as Johnny's star continued to rise, none could have predicted the dark clouds gathering on the horizon. Summer 2022. Johnny Gaudreau stood atop the hockey world after another stellar Flames season. His contract was nearly up, and the hockey world buzzed with speculation over his next move. You could imagine him leaving Calgary, a city that embraced him as a star and a son. But Johnny had a surprise in store. In the offseason, he signed a 7-year contract with the Columbus Blue Jackets, closer to his hometown roots. Leaving Calgary was agonizing, but he longed to play near family and in a fresh environment. The decision stunned fans. Why leave a team and city where you're beloved? But for Johnny, the choice honored both his family and who he was as a person. It reflected one of his go-to quotes: "Don't let where you are blind you to where you could be." Columbus, initially dubious, welcomed Johnny with open arms. In the community, he doubled down on efforts to grow the game, especially in underserved neighborhoods. He became a fixture at local schools and the Children's Hospital, using his fame to brighten others' lives. On the ice, Johnny's skills immediately meshed with fellow All-Star Patrick Laine. Fans arrived eager to cheer their city's unlikely new superstar. Back in Calgary, they understood Johnny's choice, even if their hearts ached. In what became his final season, Johnny showed that fire still burned deep. Night after night, he flashed sublime skills that belied his 5'9" frame. His passion for the game shone bright as ever. In Columbus, Johnny's star may have dimmed a bit nationally, but for Blue Jackets faithful, he became a hero. Little did anyone know that this chapter in Columbus would be Johnny's last, cut short by a tragedy that would shake the hockey world to its core. Expectant joy filled the air on the evening of August 29, 2024. The Gaudreau family gathered to celebrate Katie Gaudreau's wedding, a blissful milestone. Katie was Johnny's sister. With the wedding a day away, Johnny and his brother Matthew hopped on bikes for an invigorating ride along the New Jersey backroads of their youth. It was a chance to connect and reminisce before the happy blur of the wedding. The brothers' laughter echoed across sun-dappled fields as they pedaled beneath a cloudless sky. In the distance, the chapel waited, ready to host a celebration of dreams being fulfilled and new adventures beginning. Neither Johnny nor Matthew ever reached it. Just miles from the chapel, a drunk driver careened onto the shoulder, striking the brothers at high speed. Their lives ended instantly, and two beautiful lights were extinguished in a brutal flash. Joy turned to horror, then deep sorrow. Two beloved lives are gone. The tragedy cut deeper still. Matthew, just weeks away from becoming a father for the first time, would never meet his child. A family preparing to celebrate a wedding now faced the unthinkable task of planning two funerals. Police later identified the driver as 43-year-old Sean Higgins, who was charged with 2 counts of death by auto, reckless driving, and other charges. But no verdict could assuage the Gaudreau's grief or that of countless others whose lives Johnny had touched. Around the NHL, players, coaches, and fans struggled to process the tragedy. The league, preparing for a new season, now grappled with the loss of one of its brightest stars. While Johnny's life ended way too soon, his legacy persists. Across the sprawling continent of hockey, fans and players gathered paying respects to the Gaudreau brothers. In Calgary, fans gathered after the accident on the front steps of the Scotiabank Saddledome on an emotional night as the Calgary Flames held a candlelight vigil for Johnny Gaudreau and his brother Matthew. Like Calgary, Columbus Blue Jacket players and fans gathered for an emotional candlelight vigil outside the team's arena in Ohio to remember the Gaudreau brothers. The hockey world at large has found countless ways, big and small, to celebrate Johnny's legacy. Players across the league honor him by wearing tributes on their helmets or jerseys. His unforgettable highlights remain immortalized in video montages and NHL advertising. Even today's young stars, who only glimpsed Johnny's greatness growing up, speak reverently of him. They share not just his diminutive stature, but his mighty dreams of unlikely stardom. Through Johnny, they've learned to turn perceived limits into opportunity. That legacy promises to elevate hockey and society for generations to come. The candlelight vigils have faded. The mile-long funeral processions passed long ago. Yet Johnny Gaudreau's absence still weighs upon the hockey world. It cuts deep, but also summons us to action, to find meaning in his story's tragic end. Life offers no guarantees, no assurances our bright lights won't be extinguished early. How then to make sense of Johnny's devastating loss? By honoring his spirit, by pursuing our passions as he did, undeterred by doubt, by uplifting others through kindness and community service, by living each moment to the fullest, eyes wide open to life's beauty and frailty. Johnny's story reminds us that time is precious. At best, our days are limited. How will we spend them? Are you hobbled by discouragement or driven by dreams? Cloaked in isolation or bonded through generosity? Johnny chose the latter until his final breath. He inspired millions with sublime skills and with his heart. Remember him when shadows of self-doubt descend. Let his spirit fuel your own aspirations. Allow his legacy to blossom into countless acts of service and kindness. The pain of Johnny Gaudreau's untimely death may never fully fade, but his spirit lives on in rinks nationwide. His fire burns within every undersized kid who defies the odds. His memory makes us cherish relationships and the days we've been given. So dream boldly, love fully, and give generously, for we all have but a brief flicker of time here. Johnny Gaudreau's light illuminated hockey, yet its glow touches every dark corner. His memory and the example he set can still change lives. If we carry his legacy forward, he can still uplift us, inspire us, and guide us to our highest selves. Let Johnny's story remind us that greatness isn't defined by goals scored or trophies won. It's defined by who we are when the skates come off, by how we treat people, by the fingerprints we leave on others' lives. That is the light Johnny Gaudreau shone so brightly, a light that still warms hockey's coldest nights, guides its players and fans, and inspires us to live life to its fullest. Thanks for watching this tribute to Johnny Gaudreau. If you enjoyed this video and want more quality NHL content and stories, check out these Beer League Hockey Guy vids. And don't forget to like and subscribe to support the channel. Until next time, keep your stick on the ice and your heart in the game.